Blog Talk Radio.
John. Here, you earn this. Sure you wrote it big enough?
Yes, old King George should be able to see that.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, a decent respect requires that they declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to establish new government.
Hello?
We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, do, and with the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved of all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is, and ought to be, totally dissolved. In the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Okay, everybody, Joseph Gibson podcasting live from Greensboro, North Carolina. The phone number 657-383-0616. Press the number 1 if you want to come on live here tonight, unscreened, uncensored. Tonight there is no guest like last night. Tonight it's open platform, free for all. All of you can talk about whatever stories you want to talk about. You got somebody you want me to call live on the show. You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Whatever's on your mind, any stories you want to share, tonight is your night. So let's see how many moonbats we can get out there that will call in tonight. The moonbats and bottom dwellers. They're already in the chat room. The whack jobs, the Michelle Obama 2020 nonsense person, a couple other ones there, idiots. I can see the messages. Luther, manhole. I mean, these names these people come up with for their usernames are just total idiots. And we did call those jerks last night, the ones that are harassing me on my personal cell phone. That's fine. They can do whatever they want to do. Just keep it up. Just keep it up. Time is on my side. But anyway, Mr. Mandelicon here was not on the platform last night. And he may want to have some things he wants to share here tonight. But like I said, press the number 1, and you can get on, unscreened, uncensored, and talk about what you want to talk about here tonight. And, of course, I'll interject as time goes on. I've got a little bit of a cold here. Started Halloween night. Can barely breathe here, so I may sound a little bit different, but we're still doing the show. So let's start with Mr. Mandelicon here. Mr. Mandelicon, the floor is yours. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, no, not Mandelicon. Well, then call in. Call in. I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm going to go in order here. Okay, Mr. Mandelicon, the floor is yours first. What's on your mind here tonight?
The African boogeyman is in the house, the voodoo child. Those that are last is first, and those that are first are last. What a great time for me to be first. Ain't that something? I didn't plan this, right? Okay? So, this is not a script. And I want to be spiritually and politically correct. Last night, my phone needed a break, so I was missing in action. I went to sleep, and I didn't wake up till 8:30, so I decided not to intervene. So, it's okay. I know many of you, whether you don't like to hear this ninja, or there's another N-word that you choice people like to throw around. You were glad that you didn't hear my voice, but I'm everywhere. Now, let's start right now. The costumes are put away. You still have your mask on. And in a few days, you'll have a drumstick and cranberry sauce running out your ass. And ass is in the Bible, so that's a legal word. Ass is in the Bible. And celebrating a dinner, a feast of genocide. So the problem I'm having is on social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Blog Talk, where I hear a lot of people talk about revolution, black power, or separation, or what have you, or we need to unite. But tell me, you can't have it both ways. Either you're going to unite with freedom, justice, total independence, or you're going to unite with genocide. Now, these European holidays, the mental genocide of the last 3 quarters of the year when the whole country comes out of the red into the black. Why? Because y'all go spend so much money for shiny stuff, for food, drink, liquor, sex, and everything. These last 3 months, it's October, November, December, going to January, all of the American people, black and white, are temporarily mentally insane to think that you have a holler day when all we got is a holler day. You see, a holler day. What does that mean? That means that we can't afford these budgets that we throwing away, like on this thing called Black Friday. Should have been called White Friday. But on Black Friday, y'all going to be stampeding, running through the doors, trying to get the first toy or the first gadget or gas mowing widget off the shelf. Some of y'all going to be killing each other, fighting, and cussing and stamping, peding, doing everything you can to run through Walmart, Target, and every place else that you think you're going to get something that nobody else has. Now, what kind of madness is that? And then, before you do that, you're going to sit down and say you're going to have a feast with your family. For what? You should eat with your family every weekend if you can. Why choose this day, which has nothing to do with freedom, justice, total independence, which really enforces mental illness and mental genocide? Why go forth with that kind of the Last Supper? When I say the Last Supper, you don't mean that's the last supper you're going to have. That's the Last Supper that you really shouldn't have. So I'm going to hold that right there because I know that in a few more days after that, the Christmas, the Merry Mess, and Santa is coming to town. Then you keep talking about Christ. Now, I know Christ, Uncle Sam, and Santa, and these other are just like Casper the Friendly Ghost. They don't exist. They never did. But, of course, y'all believe that, so I'm not going to hold you from that. So if y'all going to go tell your lies to your children that, look, Santa bought this, knowing damn well if you mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers don't get out there, lie, steal, and kill, ain't going to be no mistletoe and Christmas tree, right? Santa ain't did a damn thing, so quit lying to your children. And then when it comes to this new year and the same old genocide, atrocities, and such, what have you, we're going to be spending a whole bunch of more money. Y'all going to be getting $100 hotels, getting the best clothes, get the best cognac or whatever the hell it is that we like. And honestly believe when we shoot these guns up in the air, don't you know that we ain't going to run out of bullets if y'all think y'all going to have a shootout revolution? Who got bullets to shoot up in the air and then not knowing what's going to happen on January 2nd? Yes, we do. We know what's going to happen on January 2nd. The beat goes on. The funky drummer, Uncle Scam, still is on top. So we're going to go right through the cycle over and over and over again and honestly believe that we're celebrating a holiday. The only holiday to celebrate now is freedom, justice, and total independence. Anything else is simply uncivilized. So I'm going to leave that right there. And if I'm allowed to go on, I can. What do you say?
Well, I'd actually like to ask you a question, Mendelcon. What do you suggest we do over the next 3 months? Instead of celebrating with the cranberry sauce and stampeding in Walmart buying our electronic gifts and then drinking our cognac on January 1st, what do you suggest we do for the next 3 months? Because we could talk about the problems of the country and how sick the world is today all day long and all night long and not solve any of the problems. So what's your solution?
Very good. Very good. I don't like Maulana Karenga, but I do love Kwanzaa, which came in between these holidays. I suggest strongly, not a request, not a asking position, but a demand, that we celebrate Kwanzaa 365. That means Kuji Chakalia, self-determination, independence, and purpose. And there are 5 more principles. But some people say, well, Mandela Kwanzaa ain't here yet. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about until we say Black Lives Matter from Maine to Florida, Washington State to California, UK to the University of Kentucky, from the Congo to Bongo, nobody's lives matter. You understand me? Because the reason why I'm saying it is this. If you look across the dial, all over the planet, the Creator is with everybody on the planet. It's not just with the United States of America. And we have a constitution here that we all say we love. But in the intermath of that, we will violate every other nations of color with our bombs and bullets and Black Hawk helicopters and our black and white Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine people. What does that say? That means hypocrisy. So,
Well, what about China, Mandela Khan? What about China and their New Year and their holidays? China locking up millions of people in prison camps. You know, what about Saudi Arabia throwing homosexuals off rooftops? I mean, I don't see the European people over there telling them what to do. I mean, so what about them? Why are we just blaming America for all these atrocities when other countries around the world are just as evil or just as bad? Look at North Korea. I mean, look at that. And they got their own little New Year holidays and stuff like that. You know, what about them? Aren't they just as guilty of the atrocities against the human race as America?
Nowhere near. Now, here's where you do that. Nowhere near. Now, here's what we do. Let me answer your question. Here's what you do when you do that. If you notice, and you do it for 3 years, you've always found a bad guy or a bad nation in people of color's land. You've never in your life said that, what are we going to do about France, Germany, England? France has done more damage to African people than the American people has. But you never say nothing about France. But here's why I want to say that. This eagle that we all represent, not me, in this country, if you look at it, all those countries that you mentioned, internally, yes, they do have problems. Yes, they do have the Masonic order of the patriarchy. Yes, they do. But when it comes to the history, did China ever put me and mine in slavery? Did Saudi Arabia, did Venezuela, did Cuba ever do anything? Did Russia? Oh, no. They never did nothing against the African people. Matter of fact, those countries help us even today. China is forgiving all African foreign debt. Maybe they have their selfish reasons or so forth and so on, but guess who's coming to dinner? For me and mine, I'd rather make a deal with China and Russia than make a deal with those, even if they're black and they follow Uncle Scan. I'm serious about that. So we got to have a change of heart in the new way of life. And if we don't have a change of heart and a new way of life, then we want what we have. In other words, we're going to have to sacrifice and give up the little that we have to get what we want. And if we don't sacrifice and give up the little bit that we have, then we want what we have. And no more complaints, no more grievances, no more quibbling, wilding, and vomiting, or doing a paralysis of analysis. Your whole soliloquy in the opening says that we have to overturn these tyrants.
Well, Mandela Khan, okay, but hang on a second here. In Ethiopia, there are 113,727 people imprisoned. 14.9% of that country's population, Ethiopia, that you speak so highly about, you know, because the Ethiopian Empire, you know, what do you have to say about that? Why not call them out also? Why not?
Again, I've already told you. You just have selective amnesia. There's not a black government or a white government on the planet that's serving the people. All these black tyrants have to be overturned. Now, what I'm saying to you is that Ethiopia ain't never did nothing to African people. They're doing it internally to themselves. We don't have the United States of Africa, which has a demand right now. The United States of Africa and the African people nationalizing Mother Africa.
Oh, wait a second. So it's okay for Ethiopia to hurt its own people as long as they don't hurt other people. Is that what you're saying?
I tell you what, there's no third party ventriloquist or interpreter.
No. Let's not play Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Let's do that nonsense like Shabaka does, when he comes onto this podcast. I'm asking a specific question. You said it's okay as long because you said the eagle is out hurting other countries. That's self-inflicted, what Ethiopia is doing, so you're not going to talk about that. That's what you're saying. It's wrong either way.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying first, grandmother and grandfather told us, baby, you can come over and have a good time. But when you finish, put everything back where it belongs. The history of since Hitler died, it's the eagle and Uncle Scam that has to be fixed first to put a model, a new blueprint on the table for the other nations to fall in line. No nation, not England. Y'all lied and said you broke with England, but that's a damn lie. You lied and said you broke with Hitler. That's a damn lie. Because everybody makes movies about Hitler from Hollywood. There's not a actor who's worth his weight in salt that has not played Hitler.
All right, well,
so don't act like
I'm not disagreeing with you about how the American government is corrupt and whatnot. All I'm doing is pointing out that America is not the only evil government out there that's doing the same thing by imprisoning people and having their fake holidays. I mean, the Chinese New Year themselves, they have their own holidays. Every country has its own holiday. You can't blame the holidays for what's going on around the world, and then you talked about it's fake. That's fine. That's your opinion, but you're not offering any evidence that
look,
I don't have an opinion. Christmas is a fake holiday. Hang on now. I didn't interrupt you. Christmas is a fake holiday. It's a pagan holiday. Nowhere in the Bible does it say to celebrate Christmas. So, I don't know what you're talking about there, but Christmas is a pagan Roman Catholic holiday, yes. Okay, it's phony. The Easter Bunny is phony, and we can get into the origins of holidays and religion, and then you know what happens? We get into this deep rabbit hole. But again, my question to you is, how do we, for the next 3 months, what do you suggest we do? Instead of yelling at the American and saying the European invaders, the eagle is destroying the world, what can we do to stop this and make the world and understand the times in which we live in today and make the world a better place? What can we do, starting with Mr. Mandelacon's voice here tonight? What can we do?
Okay. I'm not going to let you be exclusive. It's all inclusive. I didn't say that African and black people did not support the Confederate flag, which in this country, the Confederate flag did a minority of oppression of black people, but the red, white, and blue is a worldwide genocide. So everybody, black and white, is guilty. Everyone knows that they're guilty, and everyone knows that they're lying and living a lie. Okay,
so it's a worldwide genocide. What can we do? What can we do to stop this worldwide genocide then? Okay, what can we do? What's the answer? Let's stop pointing fingers. Look at the United States, the eagle, this and that. Okay. What can we do to stop it? What is your solution?
I know the truth hurts, and it's painful, but hey,
for Lord's sake.
Lord sake,
what can we do to change it, Mandelacon? Give me a solution.
Let me say this. I don't have an opinion, a thought, or a belief. I have divine wisdom and knowledge that I can prove. You may not accept the truth, but that's okay. It's going to hit you in the face anyway.
I'm accepting what you're saying, Mandelacon. I'm asking you for a solution. Okay, you're right, Mandelacon. Okay. You're 100% right. Okay. The eagle is suppressing the entire world. What do we do to stop it? What's the solution?
Okay. The first order of business is that internally, the American people must put past and put down their racism, bias, and prejudice. That's black and white people. You must put that down first, because if you go outside this country, race was only used as a tool in this country. Racism came about based on capitalism, based on imperialism and slavery. That's when racism became an issue. So now, you playing the race card, Mandela. No, I'm not. I'm breaking you from that race. Become like Helen Keller, Jose Feliciano, Ray Charles, and Stevie Wonder. Blind yourself of what you see, because what you see is a lie. We all need each other now. Time is a terrible thing to waste, because we done lost our mind temporarily.
Metallicon?
Yes,
Metallicon? Yeah, I didn't know if you
Yes,
left
sir.
me. Okay, carry on, please.
I said that we've lost our mind. We must become blind and start like babies again and begin to help one another. If I ask you a question, because you like to ask questions, let me ask you this question, because I got a rich history and a track record. If I ask you, John, or anybody that comes to your microphone, what have you done in your history? Now, I want a case file. I want a chronological order. What have you personally done to help the people, whatever
well,
people,
what if
white
I
people,
said,
black,
that, okay, Metallicon, let's change the time. All right, I'm not going to get an answer from you, but what if I told you that according to studies and actual documentation, the most racist country in the world today is India? What would you say to that?
I would say that you can't tell me what you've done to help people. That was my question to you. So you always running sidebar. You always running sidebar because here's what I'm telling you. I'm on the biggest case that I've ever had, and that is to bring freedom, justice, and total independence. And I will continue to speak truth to power.
But you're blaming the wrong country. You said racist. You said to stop this, America must stop its racism. But in fact, Metallicon, hang on, the most prevalent and racist countries in the world actually are the continent Asia. The continent of Asia is the most racist continent in the world. India is number one in racism, actually. Okay.
Okay.
So, and actually, they have roughly 1.3 billion people, okay, in India today, all right? And 39.9% of that country's population is racist. Believe me, okay, and I get into a whole article here proving it. Actually, the 64% of the country actually is divided. So it's more divided country, and then you go to Lebanon, another country which is 40% divided through racist, racial, ethnic cleansing, and having a superiority complex of races and the different tribalism that they have in those countries. And then you go to Bahrain. You ever heard of Bahrain? And then you go to Libya, Egypt. Okay, and the United States actually is number 27 on the list, sir. So the facts that you're bringing to the table are totally false.
Okay, now to prove where you're wrong is this.
And I'm going to get to callers. All the callers on the line here tonight, I will get the callers. I'm going to get to Mandela. I'm going to give Mandelicon a couple more minutes here. Go ahead, Mandelicon.
Okay. Now here's why you're wrong. Notice again, and I keep telling you that the only boogeyman, the bad guys, the warlocks, and the warlords in the bad countries, the shithole countries that you name, none of them are white, if we talk about white people. Now, why do I keep blaming the United States of America?
You're telling me only white people could be racist?
No, I did not. No, I did not. But here's why I can't take the foot off of crushing Uncle Scam. Because capitalism, based on imperialism, the World Bank, the IMF, and the Federal Reserve use chattel slavery to build their empire and force my labor freely to where I didn't get no 40 acres in the middle or reparations. I don't care what this woman say. Well, look, we're going to put $17
Well, the Jews didn't get reparations either, and neither did the Mongolians, and neither did the Japanese. I mean, we can go on tribe for tribe here, and the tribalism in Afghanistan didn't work throughout 3,000 years of history of the country of Afghanistan. So, we can go on and on and on and on, but you haven't offered a solution.
So what you're telling me and the people that fascism under white power, that's the only thing that we got to go for, because that's
I never said that, Mandelicon. You said what you said, Mandelicon. You said that in order to change the world today, the United States needs to stop being racist. And then I said the United States is not the most racist country on the globe here today, and I have an entire fact sheet here in front of me, which will put everybody to sleep because people don't have time to examine the facts. All they want to do is spew off at the mouth with their opinions and not analyze the facts. Now, Mandelicon, I want you to stay on hold. I've got a bunch of callers here. You did make your point. I'll let you continue.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. But let's take other voices, Mandelicon, please. Okay? Private caller, go ahead. Private caller, what's on your mind here? Private caller, going once. Going twice. All right. You obviously don't want to talk. Okay, 323. You've been waiting a while. And then I see John. Go ahead, 323. 323. Go ahead. You're on the phone with Joseph Gibson.
Greetings. This is Shabaka Greetings. This is Shabaka Sankara, the executive producer and the host of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. We're on Blog Talk Radio as well too. The United States, sir, was built on racism. Okay, and what proves this, man, is look at what it has did to the mindset of the African man, woman, and child right here, that it split up the family unit. And the family unit is very, very sacred. It's because this is how the children had come about to be better people than to pass on down traditions. Now, as long as my people are sitting up here regurgitating this hip-hop garbage, N-word this, N-word that, kill each other and all of that, white America sits back and applauds this. In addition to with that racist-ass institution in Los Angeles where I grew up called Hollywood, that there's another main practitioner of racism with his jigaboo movies, Amos and Andy, Rochester, Yasser and all that old type of crap. You see, so therefore, I honestly don't believe that the United States is in a moral position to say who is racist and say who is not. I've always advocated that my people become self-sufficient to get ourselves up out of this hellhole. I still advocate that and will continue to advocate that. It's because
well, you're free, Shabaka. You're free to travel anywhere you want. You're free to travel anywhere you want. If this is such a hellhole, if America is such a hellhole, you're free to go anywhere you want. What are you talking about? You're trapped.
Yeah.
Has anyone got you in chains today?
Whoa. Glad you brought it up. When you kick out the reparations, I'll be happy to get the hell up out of here. But you're not going to sit up there.
Whoa. Were you a slave, Chewbacca? Were you a slave? Why should you collect reparations for something that happened to someone else? Why should you?
Simple. It's because my ancestors, as they were beaten and enslaved on the plantations of Alabama, just like how you white people put down inherited wealth, we need our reparations for our people who were not paid. Tell me.
I was never paid anything. I've never been paid anything.
So
what are you talking about?
I'm not talking to sir. I'm not talking about your people. I'm talking about my people. My people have to be focused on themselves, not sitting up here worrying about Master Charlie and Yazzie Boss and Rochester. Man, that shit is garbage. Come on.
Well, but you never answered the question, Chewbacca. You never answered the question. Are you enslaved? Are you trapped here in America today? Does anyone have you in chains?
Yeah, let me put it to you this way, man. Every time I get pulled over by the police by your modern-day patty trollers, yeah, I'm still in slavery, to answer your question directly.
So you're still enslaved. So you're not – well, I'll tell you what, Chewbacca. Everyone on this phone line here tonight – you give us your address and we'll buy you a one-way ticket anywhere you want to go in the world.
No, I don't
need
you to buy me anything. What I need
you're trapped.
To do
you said you're enslaved. You said you're trapped. You're enslaved.
Treasury. So therefore, because my ancestors are slaves down there on the plantations of Alabama, beaten with chains. And then you remember.
I don't know of any plantations today in Alabama that are beating black people up with chains. Can you name those plantations? I'd like to expose them.
Yeah. My ancestors slaved down in Antigua County, Alabama, and the slave name was Montgomery.
Okay, they did, but not you. Your ancestors, if they were here today, if your ancestors were alive today, I would say, okay, let's pay them the reparations they deserve, but not you.
Excuse me. See, that's the damn problem right there. White America never wants to sit up there and be accountable of the atrocities that it is committed.
I should not be accountable for anything. I've not done anything. I have not done anything to any race of people.
Yeah. But you support the system and you benefit.
I say, you know what? I say, look, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up. Stop walking around, driving around 3 o'clock in the morning, and you won't get pulled over by the police. Go home and act responsible.
I don't go around.
Yeah.
I don't go around with my pants sagging down. See, that's fag shit. Okay. I don't go around doing that punk ass shit.
Most of your people do, but since we're discussing people here.
My people need to educate themselves. My people need to get our children about these damn public indoctrination centers. And by the way, and you LGBT so-and-sos that support that shit, you all aware of the fact of the transgender who expose themselves to school-age children, right? So therefore, get your facts straight. You see what I mean?
But you
now,
never answered the question. You said you're enslaved today and you're trapped.
I most certainly did. And then
I said, let's buy you a plane ticket. You can go anywhere you want. You said, no, I don't want to be bought nothing.
No. Drop $1 billion in my bank account, and I would take myself any damn place. Now,
well, that's white money, though. That's Federal Reserve money. Why would you want white money?
Your gross national product, and then your gross national product parlayed off all the textiles, the alcohol, the rum, technology, mechanical engineering, the light bulb, education, all from our enslavement here. And you kept parlaying that money again and again and again like they do in the banking system. See, so don't come to me with this hogwash. You see, that's diversionary prepackaged nonsense. And I'm trying so hard not to cuss. You see, what my people have to do.
Well, you won't cuss, I guarantee you that, because we're not going to allow that on the podcast. But you can continue on if you want.
I know that. Oh, yeah, but sure. But now Mandela Khan is right. You see what I mean? About what he is saying is, and I am going to be having Mr. Khan on my show in the future, and also, too, I would like him to make his presentation. But you have to examine of what your society did and its ethos of how it mistreats us, and then even have these rap idiots going out there perpetuating that garbage, generation after generation after generation.
Well, you're right. It is garbage. I'll agree with you there. You're right. It is garbage.
Yeah. Okay. But at the same token, however, as our sister in Cuba has said, is that rap music could be a very, very positive thing within the black community. Then they start changing the lyrics to it again. So thank you, fellas, down there in Hollywood. You see what I mean? You know, and then on top of that, as long as my people are going out here killing each other, you white folk are so happy with that. But as soon as we try to get up here and talking about building for ourselves and what have you, you're calling us black racists. There ain't no such thing as a black racist. We don't control no banks, police departments, no man.
Well, well, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as a black racist. You're saying how your race. You're saying your race of people are so suppressed, and you're telling me that you're not a race and you can't be racist.
No, black people cannot be racist in the United States of America. When you brutalize the people for, 15 generations, and they come back.
I don't think the black people today of America are brutalized today. I really don't. If you could provide me some facts of plantations around the country today.
That we've been here, just like when the police go out there and violate their civil rights, just like where I'm standing right now, less than 5 miles away, when a 24-year-old man tried to organize his people exercising their Second Amendment rights, and you guys called him a damn terrorist, when the terrorist himself was J. Edgar Hoover, who was a closet queen who had violated the laws. Daddy, so I mean, man, white America's a bunch of hypocrites. Man, face it, Joe. I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
I didn't say you were mad at me. I never said you were mad at me. I never said you were mad at me.
You guys are just expressing of how you honestly feel. As long as my people out here self-destructing, we're okay. As soon as we're talking about building something up, you see what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden we're racist. Just like what the heavyweight champion said.
I don't know about that, Shabaka. I'll tell you what. Every bank today has more incentives for a black man to get a small business loan than a white man. You know, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about there. They get lower interest rates than I do.
No, that's garbage. No, that is garbage. That is garbage.
No, that is a fact, sir. Okay. That is a fact. I can pull the numbers and spreadsheets up for you.
Fact. Okay, but I can tell you what I experienced when I tried to go get them. Okay? You see, so I don't know what your fact sheets are. And like I said, the statistics can be, well, as they say, fudge, just like the counting books can be fudge. You know what I mean? But as long as you guys,
well, I can tell you right now, Shabaka, if I stood on the street corner in Meriden, Connecticut, and started yelling the N-word, I'd be arrested. But if you stood on the street corner and started yelling out cracker, white trash, this and that, you'd probably get a cheering section. Okay, so how are you going to tell me the black man is so suppressed?
Okay, those are not racist terms. It's because cracker only meant is because of the crack of the whip that your people had put on my people on those damn plantations.
Well, white honky or whatever. I just use that as an example. But if a black man stood on a corner and yelled with a megaphone, I guarantee you the police would be there tiptoeing around, being careful they didn't violate his civil rights. But if a white man got out there and said the N-word, he'd be hauled away in
take
handcuffs.
about 9 bullets from a 9mm and shoot them, just like what they did with Mario Woods over here. Just like how they did members of the Black Panther Party with the counterintelligence program when they tried to go by your hypocritical-ass Constitution about the Second Amendment. You see what I mean? So be sure to mention
well,
that.
All right, Shabaka, I've got numerous callers on the line here tonight who may want to interact with you. However, the same question I asked Mendelicon. What is the solution here? What is your solution that you offer? You already said 40 acres and a mule and $1 billion. Do you have any other solution?
It is for my people. It's for my people to become self-sufficient to recycle the revenue that they generate. Because see, we know you ain't gonna give a shit. You see what I mean? But it's up to us.
I'm not giving nothing to nobody. You're absolutely right.
Hey. And this is why it's more essential for us to establish our own supermarkets, our own banks, our own industry. And
so you want separatism. So you believe a separate society would achieve the goal then, separatism.
Your whole country was built on separatism, man. Only a damn fool would sit up there or walk inside of a burning house talking about he loves everybody. Just like Dr. King realized his mistake with integration when he said shortly before his death, I led my people to the burning house of integration.
I don't think that's what he did say that, but I don't think that's what he meant by that quote, Shabaka. I don't think he did. But Shabaka, you're more than welcome to stay on the line. Let me bring some other callers on the line here. You're more than welcome to stay on the line. Go ahead, John from Mississippi.
Cuss them out too.
All right, well that's fine, but as long as we have a civil discussion here and not have to yell over each other. John from Mississippi, go ahead. You're welcome to the platform.
Hey, how you doing, man? Okay. I got both phones.
Go ahead, John. The floor is yours.
Wow, we got to listen to this guy again about a black person can't be racist in America. That is the stupidest statement. That just shows his IQ level.
What police departments do we control? What businesses that we control? The white man tells the black man that God is in the sky.
All right, hang on, Shabaka. Let him finish his point. Shabaka, let him finish his point, and then you can respond back to him. How's that? Okay, John, go ahead. Make your point, please.
Yes. If you want people to take you seriously, don't make stupid statements repeatedly. Because I
can barely hear you, John. You're breaking up bad. You're breaking up bad on us, John.
I'm on the other phone line. Why don't you put me on the other one, and I'll turn this one on.
Okay, I'll put you. Okay, I see the phone line, actually. Let me mute you, John. All right, come on, because we're wasting time here. The phones are very simple here to operate, folks. Okay, here we go. All we got to do is talk into him clearly. Shabaka was heard very well. Go ahead, John. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, what's better? Is that better?
It's a little bit better, yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, if you people want people to take you seriously, stop saying things that aren't true because you're just rated as a liar and a manipulator.
No, I said it fact.
I'm making a point.
All right, we're back to square one again. John, make your point. Shabaka, let John speak, please. I'm asking you politely here, and then you can respond to him. Yeah, well, he has a right to say what he wants to say on this platform. Give him a couple minutes, and then he can respond to you. Yelling over each other, we're not going to get anywhere. Go ahead, John.
I'm only going to take 1 minute to say what I have to say, and then you can respond, Shabaka. I don't sit there and just run my mouth. I say things that are relevant when I speak. Okay? Now, here I go again. To make statements that are outright lies that anybody can tell, well, that's a stupid statement. You're only showing your stupidity. Let me finish, okay?
You only said it because you disagree with me. You disagree with me.
Shabaka, do us, the people, the favor.
Hey, man,
let him test the line. Let him test the line.
Let him test the line. We're not getting anywhere. Shabaka just hung up. That's a blessing. Thank you. Shabaka doesn't want to hear anything, and that's why we're never going to understand. But, John, go ahead. The floor is yours.
No,
go
that's
ahead.
all right. He can hang up. That's all right. That's no problem. He doesn't want to be called out on the truth is what it is. That's all it is. And he's probably got people sitting around him listening, and he didn't want them to hear what I was going to say because I just called him out on the fact that he's a liar manipulator. You know, he's asking for reparations. He's asking for more slavery. He's talking about his people. Why are you driving your people into slavery? Why are you lying to them? Why are you manipulating them? Freedom is what it's about. Money is about slavery. Okay, so if you're telling them, hey, I'm going to get you some money, I'm going to get you some more slavery, you might as well just say it like everybody in government is doing it, you know?
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. And then he could have gone ahead and spent 10 minutes yelling at me and saying whatever, you know? Okay,
all right,
go ahead,
let's go
guys.
to area code. All right, 231, actually 336 is before you, so go ahead, and listen, I'm going to start doing that. We can't be yelling over each other because all we're doing is wasting time. I could yell up my TV set and my mirror all day long. I don't need to talk into a phone and pay for it and yell at each other. I'm giving everyone a chance here to make their points. Okay, go ahead, 336.
Yeah, sometimes, Joe, you got to remember that there's lag. There's about a 2-second lag, so lots of times people ain't intentionally trying to talk over one another. It's just the way it comes out because it takes a second for it to come across. But, I mean, I'm going to test the lie. And, you know, Chew Tobacco, when he goes into a bank or he stops by the cops, if he has that kind of attitude, no wonder why he gets nowhere. I mean, good God, if he talks like that, I mean, what's he do? Walk into the bank, say, I need some money. You guys owe me some money. I need reparations. Yeah, that's going to get you real far. I mein, but if you notice, that's the way they work, though. They want you to listen to everything they have to say, bitch and complain about. But then when you try to counter-argue or ask them a question or something, all they do is interrupt you. They don't want to hear it. There are nothing but dictators. That's all they want to do is dictate their thoughts. They want reparations. I'm going to buy them a damn can of Campbell's soup because that's all they deserve from me, if anything from me. How about my reparations? You know, there's plenty of white folks there's probably a lot more white folks that were enslaved over the years than black folks. So don't give me no shit about reparations for you and your people because, first of all, they're not your people. They're just people alike. That's it. And the definition of racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's race is superior. So, yes, black people can be racist, and yes, black people are racist. If you don't like it, tough crap, because it happens every damn day. How many times are black people hunted out a white person? Or how many times a white person has hunted out a black person, for that matter? I mean, it goes both ways. It doesn't matter what nationality you are, you could be racist. Like you said, go over to India, go over to China, go to some of them places, start a little trouble, see what happens. They don't give a shit. Your ass would be tied up in a damn bunk somewhere. Then he brings up the Black Panther Party. Yeah, oh yeah, here's a real peaceful, loving party. You know, the ones when people were going to try to vote for Romney in 2012, they were standing out there with baseball bats threatening to bash people's heads in if they didn't vote for Obama.
Oh yeah,
That's
but Chewbacca says Obama wasn't a part of it. But Chewbacca came on this show and said, oh no, Obama was not a black man. He was a traitor. He didn't do anything for us. Yeah, but like you just said, they were standing at the damn polling places with baseball bats. Oh, I wish I would have. Well, I don't vote.
Yeah,
but I wish one of those bastards would have tried that with me. You go right ahead, pal. Come to North Carolina with a baseball bat at a polling place and see what happens. You know? But
if
anyway,
Obama sat back
Dr.
and gave
Leroy.
them, if Obama sat back and put his damn $1 billion in his pocket, he'd have been the greatest president ever. But you know what? Chew Tobacco would have been dead by now because he would have overdosed on all the crack and shit he would have smoked. He would have took that $1 billion and blew it all on fucking hood rats and drugs because that's the way he sounds like he would act. So he wouldn't know what to do with it. So and don't get me on this crap that the black society.
Look, the point of it is, though. Hang on, Dr. Leroy. Hang on. Just let me say this. I'll give you the floor again. I just want to say this. You know, I tried to give him the floor and have a civil conversation, and like your point being, even Mandela Khan tried to get through to him and say, hey, you know, knock it off for a minute and just let the man speak. And he went off cockeyed and half berserk. And Mandela Khan, if you're going to be on a show like that, I highly suggest you don't because, you know, if it's going to be a one-sided show where anyone could just talk over each other and talk like that and then just run away like a coward, because that's what he did. He ran away. He didn't want to stand and make his point after John did. I'm going to say I lost a lot of respect for Chewbacca, who's called into this show plenty of times. I lost a lot of respect for him. To run away and hang up and say, I'm not having no more part of this because we were trying to have a dialogue here to get to the foundation of facts, then I say shame on Chewbacca, and maybe you'll call back in the future and apologize for the way you acted and handled yourself, because if you're so great and the black man is so put down, you proved a lot of the racist white people's points out there tonight. You really did, and shame on you for doing that. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy.
Yeah, and the thing about all white people being racist, wanting the whole black people down there, there's plenty of successful black people out there. All you got to do is get your hood rat butt out of the hood and look around. There's plenty of successful black lawyers, businessmen, and everything else starting their own companies, doing good. I mean, just look up in Congress, or how many blacks are there? I mean, I'm tired of hearing that, the white people holding them. The only people holding a black person down is the black person themselves. With that kind of attitude, you're not going to get nowhere in life. As long as you keep thinking someone's holding you back, you can't get nowhere. And to give someone like that money, first of all, that's just, if we gave them money, that would eliminate them from the earth, and we get all the money back anyway. Because like I said, the first thing they're going to do is go out and blow it. They wouldn't know how to invest it or anything because of the attitude they have and the outlook they have on life. Now, you know, Mandela Khan, I can't say that about him. Mandela Khan might take that money and do some good with it. But, you know what I'm saying. How many people you know win the lottery, then in 7 or 8 years they're dead broke on their ass? Almost every single one of them. Because they know what they're doing.
But anyway,
you know?
Dr. Leroy, to get to the point, he says he wanted $1 billion. $1 billion, you know?
Yeah,
and
$1 billion.
why would $1 billion solve his people's problem that he's talking about? You're telling me money, the Federal Reserve, is going to solve? But then, earlier on in the conversation, he's blaming the Federal Reserve for all the things that have happened to his people, but yet he wants the Federal Reserve to pay him. That kind of sounds like the cracker notion. You know, well, you know, I mean, that is kind of idiotic and self-centered and egotistical and ignorant. He wants the Federal Reserve to pay him $1 billion, but yet the Federal Reserve is the one that enslaved his people. Boy, that's, you know, that makes no sense whatsoever. And anyway, Dr. Leroy, I've got a lot of people on the phone line here.
Go ahead.
So
I got to go take care of something. I got to go take care of something anyway. I'll be standing by listening, and I'll be back here in just a few minutes, though.
All right, that's fine. Area code 231. Area code 231. You're live on Understanding the Times in which we live in today. What's on your mind? We got into a race topic here tonight. I didn't know we were going to go that way. Go ahead.
If you ask me, race, there's nothing in that racism because there's only one race, the human race. Basically, you know, and that just because your skin's a slightly different color, you get a little more melatonin or whatever it is in your skin, you know. But the guy that hung up, I'm glad he did because last time he interrupted me and I didn't get to talk, didn't get to get my points across or anything. Last time I was in here, but he, you know. He seems more racist than most of the people I know, you know. I just think everyone's pretty much equal, and these other folks have been making such good points because, you know, I've known a lot of really good black people who, you know, one of my best friends, he was a military vet, and he had his own business. He ran a campground and everything else. And, you know, and I watched the police use racism against him big time. He was assaulted by a white guy who had who had a record as long as his arm, and he wound up in jail because of it. Black guy did.
All right, well, hang on a second here. So are you proving Shabaka's point that the black man out there is targeted by the police departments out there, and does Shabaka have
actually they are in many cases because they don't necessarily fight and they don't know how to fight and they can't afford lawyers. So they're a really easy target for the police to make money for their, you know, the police are just out there nowadays making money for their departments and their county seats, you know.
Well, then let me ask you this question, sir. Hang on. Let me ask you this question. Then why in neighborhoods that are predominantly black, the crime rate is through the roof? Why is that? What's going on here? What's going on? Why is this happening?
That is because, in a lot of cases, because they're trying to pay off all the damn fines that the cops have put on them and so on. I know a lot of people
you're breaking
like
up,
that.
Sir. Your phone's breaking up.
Literally had to turn criminal to pay off all the fines and stuff.
Okay, sir, your phone is breaking up, sir. Your phone is breaking up really bad. Your phone is breaking up. All right. We're losing callers because this happens because people don't know. They're having problems with their cell phones. What I'll do is I'll mute you and you call back in and I'll look for your number. All right. Well, I don't know what you're calling in, but you're breaking up very badly, sir. Very badly. Okay. So I just want to let you know that, and people don't want to listen to that when they call into a radio show. So can you clean up your connection, please? So what I'll do is I'll take one caller and get back to you. You can call. I got your phone number here, but I've got a bunch of callers on the phone line. It's not that hard to work this technology, folks. You pick up a telephone, you call into the radio show. You're not, breathing in the background, talking to somebody else, getting text messages, doing that. Call in. It's not that hard, okay? Private caller, go ahead. Now look for 231. I'll connect him back.
Joseph.
Go ahead, private caller first.
Joseph,
go ahead.
John, chime in a minute.
Yeah. Take the private caller first, then John, and then 231. Go ahead, private caller.
Okay, thanks, John. Hi, Joseph. This is Sam from San Antonio. I wanted to ask Norman Davis a question. Is he a pseudo-African from Delaware? Is that right?
Let me give you the slave name that my mother and grandmother and great-grandmother discarded when they was at my naming ceremony of the connector, Mandela kind. What do you have to ask, Norman Davis? What's your name and who are you? Where are you from?
This is Sam from San Antonio.
Okay, go ahead. From Texas, the most vicious execution state where people kill people in Texas every day, but they still have capital punishment. So evidently, kill or be killed is not working. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm not originally
go ahead.
from San Antonio. I'm originally from Rehoboth Beach in Delaware.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, why do you think that there were no African slaves in China? There were from 618 to 907 AD, and then again in the Tang Dynasty.
Okay. Now, let me put it in perspective. Do you know that the Irish was in the 800 year against the British in slavery, right? So,
but I was
500
talking
years
about
ago,
Africa.
I know what you're talking about, but I want to bring it to 4 because you're trying to make this a. See, you got in Joe Gibson's venue, there's a fan club and a clan club, and y'all test a lot with selective amnesia. China has always been in opposition because of y'all say the word communism, right? While y'all say the word democracy or republic, everybody knows, including China, that it was this system of capitalism based on imperialism that was started in the United States of America. Before the United States of America was formed, there was no world economy. There was no competition for goods and services because everybody traveled freely and was able to get what they could get and get some sustenance from Mother Earth. All of a sudden, then there became a bunch of rules, regulations, and restrictions from the European Union, from the imperialists that did not have the commodities in their sector. If you notice in China and all of the Arab world and South and Central America, that's where all the commodities are, other than some tulips in Holland, and some steel in Germany.
Okay, all right, Mandela, can you answer the caller's question? Because I got John on standby. Can you answer the question, please, without giving us a poetic justice term?
The question is this, is that this agent has done selective amnesia on the research of the national and international democratic rights of the people. You can't take my 70-year history and then equate it with where we go from here. The People's Revolution takes place all over the world, but it starts in the United States of America. So don't point to China, don't point to Afghanistan, don't point to Russia, don't point to Venezuela, don't point to North Korea, don't point to Cuba.
I know, everything that America does is wrong. Okay, Mandela, you answer the question. All right, very good. Very good. Now, John, you said you wanted to chime in. Hang on, Sam. Let John chime in now. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Sam, sorry about that. If you want to ask it again,
don't be sorry. I said it, and I meant every word of it.
No.
All right, Mandela, all right.
She didn't feel her question was answered, and I'm just sorry about that. I don't really even I understand it's been slavery since the beginning of time with man, especially since there's been a monetary system. But they perfected it now. You all got to understand this. Now they use the monetary system to enslave you. We've all been enslaved. We are all slaves. Hello, fellow slaves, okay? And those that think they're free and think that the capitalist system is going to help them and they can prosper and they can do good and this is the way life is supposed to be, they're so enslaved they're never going to even think about freedom because they don't understand what freedom is at all. They have no understanding of freedom when they think this system is good for anybody. It's only good for the slave masters. The rest of us are all slaves. I don't care how much money you got, how well you think
we know
you're
that,
doing.
John, but what's the solution?
Okay.
We know that, John. We know that.
Solution is simple, and I say it all the time. Solution is simple, a revolution. The people get together, we rise up, we take control of the system, okay? We implement a slave-free system, no monetary system. That's what enslaves us. No more guards. That's what enslaves us. No more police force. That's what enslaves us. It's a very simple system.
John. John, that has been tried.
No, it hasn't been tried.
No,
it
hasn't. Tribalism.
No, it
has. Tribalism. Yes,
it hasn't been tried. Stop saying it has. The only time it was ever tried was with the Indian people and things like that. This system came in and started killing them. Okay.
So the Indians really had a really good system, John. Hang on. The Indians really had a good system, killing each other. They were killing their own tribes, attacking each other. There was the murder rate amongst the tribes was skyrocketed. That they were killing off tribal leaders left and right.
Can I say something about that now?
And they didn't have a bartering system either.
Wait. Let me ask you. Wait. And you know that all this was going on. How? You weren't there. They didn't document things on paper.
Well, John, we know this from testimony and eyewitness accounts handed down by their ancestors and documented
so we know
evidence
Europeans were killing them how?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite. John, how? Here we go. We're going to question how we know what we know. We know it because we studied history.
I'm not going to question it. Let me just say this real quick. We know this because the people that genocided them and took over their land and took over their way of life have written what was going on. The ones that genocided them have written the history that we read today. So that's how we know what you know. So we don't know. Don't assume to know. Always question, and wonder why.
Well, how do we know what you're saying is true then, John? How do we know that they lived in this peaceful utopia, these Indians? How do we know that, John?
They didn't slaughter the land. They lived off the land. They
slaughtered each other.
Okay,
they slaughtered each other too.
Hey, how many of their leaders, needed a whole group to protect them from their own people? Needed police force to protect them from their own people. That's where you can see there's a good society when the leader of the society does not require a police force, a protective agency, to protect them from their own people. Look at the way the president moves around. The president can't move anywhere in the United States because too many people know what he's doing to them.
Have you ever heard of John, have you ever heard of Indians Native Americans National Archives? Have you ever heard of that? Where actual Indian tribes and tribal chiefs that from ancestors, like for instance, if you told a story about your great-grandfather or your grandfather, these are all records that were documented through tribal history. You want to read the tribal histories of the Pawnee tribes? Do you want to read about the Cherokees that maybe a lot of us know about? Or how about the 7,000 other different tribes?
To read about the American Indians.
Hang on. That migrated from the Mexican. See, you're going to interrupt me. From the Mexican continent because they were pushed out by their own people. You have to understand world history, John, and you have to know how to research it. Don't tell me you can't find it on the internet. Anyone can go to Smithsonian Library or any Congressional Library of Congress and read physical books that have been transcribed onto the Internet. The Internet's not all fake, just some of the search engines that naively blind people because of the pop-up ads and all the other crap. But you can look up these archived records. And if you look up Native American tribal law, John, this no monetary system stuff that you're talking about, do no harm, they tried this, and it didn't work. Because tribal leaders always wanted more and wanted more land to conquer and wanted to attack other tribal leaders, whether it was because they had a tribal bride that one tribal leader wanted. I can give you for instances if you want, because you always criticize me about rambling on and writing paragraphs. That's because it takes time to research history and read all these documented facts. And you have to read them all to understand it. You can't read one line of a chapter and say, oh, that's the answer. You've got to go through the entire historical preference that I'm trying to bring you. Like, for instance, the other night when we were talking about the Constitution, the two Constitutions. There are two Constitutions, one organic and one that's corporate. There's no other mysterious Constitution out there that nobody's ever seen or heard of. And I've researched this since that night, John, and everything you said that night was full of shit, actually, about some Constitution. You're getting it confused with the organic Constitution. And all that let's do no harm, that has been tried and actually is being tried today in the Amazon. There are several tribes, I don't have the names in front of me right now, that try that.
Shit is not in the Bible, Joe Gibson. Shit is not in the Bible. That's inadmissible. Strike that from public record.
All right, whatever. All right, anyway, John, I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead, John. You want to finish your point? Go ahead, because I got other callers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If I'm going to research tribal history of the Indians, I want to research what was written in the 1300s. That's how far back I want to go, at least. In American history of the 1300s. At least that far back is what I'm saying. Now, the point being, everything written after the 1400s, when Christopher Columbus came here, I believe none of it. It was all lies. It was all propaganda, just like...
They didn't know how to write.
Look, they did have their own form of communication and writing, and their hieroglyphs basically is what they were. Okay, but they did communicate. They did leave things behind. Now, the translation of them, can you trust them? I don't know. But the point is, okay, look at the times we're living in today. We got a system in charge. Yes, the black people are targeted by the system intentionally. The black neighborhoods are targeted to show more violence, more crime, intentionally. This is not because those people are worse at surviving, that they have to commit crimes. They're worse people or nothing. It's the system designed to make it look that way to us. I believe all we're all good, man. They're just doing what they have to do.
Not correct.
All right. Come on, man. Jeez.
Okay.
I mean, we can't have a conversation here about someone interrupting. Go ahead, John.
Okay, I understand you don't think it's correct, but you won't open your eyes to look at the whole picture, who's in charge and how they're doing this to us, how they're dividing us, how they're making it like, oh, don't worry about him.
Okay.
He's just mad because he doesn't.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Hang on. Let him finish his point.
I'll write it down. All right, good.
I know you like to interrupt because, like you told me, you'll forget what question because we jumped to another subject. But Dr. Leroy wants to ask you a question, John, about that.
That's why I'll write it down. I'll write it down this way. He could keep going.
Okay. I'm going to be real quick, Leroy. The point is, they intentionally make it look like they want it to look by design. It's the only way they could keep us divided, man. We have to unite. I think all people are good. I believe that in my heart. If they didn't have reasons to survive, to have to do harm to survive, they would be doing good to survive. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, Leroy.
Okay.
What do you got to say,
all right,
man?
Dr. Leroy, before you make your point, John, to answer your question, how do I research Indian tribes from the 1300s? You can actually go to real quick here, actually I had it here and I lost it when I interrupted Dr. Leroy, but you can look up the Osage Nation, the Ikara Nation, the Patat Nation, the Lakota people, the Cheyenne, Navajo, Apache, Sioux, the Cherokees, and there's 757 other tribes. I'll send you that link on Facebook because you said you wanted to look up things from the 1300s, and there are ways you can do that without using Google or Yahoo, other search engines, or you can go to your local public library if you want to, and they'll send you to the same links. But and if you want to receive physical books, I'm sure they have most of them there, or copies or microfilm of those physical books. So that's how you research history, but I can send you those links. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy.
All right, great. If it's just the media and the government wanting these neighborhoods to look like this, how about you go out and buy a nice brand new pair of Nike Air Max 95s, some gold chains, a really expensive Rolex watch, put them on your damn wrist, and walk through the south side of Chicago at 1 o'clock in the morning. Tell me what happens. And then do the same thing in Malibu or something like that, or in Beverly Hills. Then tell me what happens. Because you're not going to make it through the south side of Chicago to go to Malibu or Beverly Hills because you will be killed, mugged, or something on the south side of Chicago. So don't tell me we're doing that. Go into one of them neighborhoods freely. Just if it's all make-believe, you have nothing to worry about.
Okay. Dr. Leroy?
An answer
all right,
to
hang
that.
on. John, you want to respond to that before I get to the next caller? John obviously wants to respond to that. Go ahead, John.
You're missing the point. They're doing this to them by design. You're missing the point. You're just saying, oh, look, what's happening. Well, why is it happening? Look into why it is there. Look, and as far as walking in, let me tell you something. I grew up in Miami, Florida, when it was murder capital of the United States when I was a teenager, okay? We used to have riots that were really bad in the colored neighborhoods. And let me tell you something. My friends would not drive into the colored neighborhoods. They would park 3 blocks away, and I would walk in with chains on my neck, okay? A pair of nunchucks behind me in my back as defense. That was it, okay? And I had total respect from everybody because you know why? Because look at this white guy just walking into our neighborhood and walking up to this crowd of black people. They left me alone, okay? It's the fear. When they see the
but why
fear in
should
your
they
eyes,
leave you alone? Why should they be intimidated to leave you alone? That's what Dr. Leroy's saying, John. If you walked into Malibu or Beverly Hills, you wouldn't need a chain around your neck or a nunchucks in your back pocket. I think that's what Leroy's saying.
The point
okay,
is,
let me respond quickly. Let me respond quickly on behalf of Halloween.
Mendelicon, let John finish first. Go ahead, Mendelicon. You'll be next.
The point is, people. The point is, the situation is created by the system. It's not just happening because of the black race. The white race, or you might want to say it that way, but I don't like to. You know, the ones in charge, okay, are the ones putting them in that position intentionally. You know these Malibu areas? You know how much money gets invested by the government into keeping the neighborhoods looking as pretty as they do? Do you know how much money gets invested into a black neighborhood to keep the neighborhood looking good? Absolutely not $1. Okay, they actually take that money and they put it in their pockets and they build things in the neighborhood and then charge these people to use them, but things that are going to oppress them more than help them. I mean, it's just the system. The people in charge are doing this. Let's unite. Let's stop fighting.
So John,
you're right on a certain aspect. You're right on a certain aspect there, Mendelicon. Well, I was just going to go with these people in Malibu and Beverly Hills. How much money are they paying taxes? I mean, now maybe they're paying millions more. Maybe they should be taking that money and investing it more in the poorer communities instead. You know, I'm not playing, what's right and what's wrong here. I'm just thinking of ways. That's all. Different options.
All right, well, I had a point to make here on what John just had to say, actually.
May I intervene quickly, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Mendelicon. Go ahead, because I got a bunch of callers here who want to get on the phone.
Okay.
Go ahead.
On behalf of John's point, I want every one of you white people who be in your tractor trailer, your SUV, you can go in the worst black neighborhood today. And if you are respectful or decent, you're going to get engaged to see what it is you want, what can they do to help you get what you want so you can get the fuck out of there. Get the hell out of there, right? It might be a little sex. It might be some Percocets. It might be some heroin. It might be some reefer. It might be some cocaine. It might be a whole bunch of things.
Thanks, Mandela Khan. Thank you. I needed that.
You're absolutely correct, Mandela Khan. You could be going shopping. That's all the black people want in their community.
Okay. There's a legal economy and an illegal economy. It's the illegal economy that keeps this country running because black, brown, red, yellow, and white, they love some pharmaceuticals and some stimulants. And sometimes the doctors behind the doors, they charge you a whole bunch of money for some Percocets, some Dorvons, or whatever the hell it is that they charge. And they all know that they're pharmaceutical drug dealers, right? But the key is this, is that I want to ask John this because I love his November 2nd, 2020, even though it's in the wintertime and there's a bunch of contradictions in the way. The fact of the matter is that John, Joe, and Tyrone, Pinocchio, Thompson of Talk Real Shitty, Talk Real Stupid, they know that I told them about the bloodless revolution and that we need a political wing before the people move. See, a political wing gives the marching orders, not me, not John. It's the political wing. That's why pain was formed, because pain is duality. It's mind, body, and soul, and this is the reality that we're confronted with. We have to have a political wing before we march on the Capitol. Why do we have to have a political wing?
All right, Mandela Khan. All right. We'll dedicate another show to that, actually, but let's not get off topic here. Let's go to
the topic is John. The topic is John is authorized.
I know, but we can't go on forever here about November 2nd here tonight. So let's not change subjects here.
Okay.
We're getting into a little depth conversation, but let's not change topics here. Go ahead, 916.
Hello?
Yes, 916. Go ahead.
Saturday, which Saturday did you say? Anyway,
all right. Obviously, you have nothing to
You're an 85-year-old woman, and you're swearing at me.
All right, whatever. Goodbye. 323. Go ahead, 323.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. Go ahead.
Hey, General Shabaka. Good to have you back.
I have a right to fucking kill you.
Absolutely.
All right. Somebody's playing background noise. Hang on. Somebody's playing background noise. I left somebody's line open thinking they'd be respectful, and they're not. So let's mute them real quick. And let me go up the phone line, scroll here. Muted. All right. I know who's unmuted here. I know these people aren't pulling that crap. So, all right, Shabaka, go ahead. The floor is yours now. Go ahead.
Okay. Like I said before, and I have to emphasize it here again and again, and I apologize about the language earlier, but when I'm trying to make a point, I don't need to be cut off because, notice, I don't do that. The solution to my people's problem currently here is to become self-sufficient economically, politically, and educationally. Now, one thing that I have noticed about white America, they always want to rewrite everybody's history. They always want to come to us with this prepackaged nonsense that white is right, black get back, if you're brown, don't stick around. But the fact of the matter is that the sciences that we have given the world, that Alexander the Barbarian came down there and stole and started burning down the libraries, and I believe another savage by the name of Caesar had did the same thing. Now, which was common practice, that any time that the African warlords went to go handle their business on a continent, rather with our people or invaders, okay, he always took his queen with him. Why? Is because, first of all, what is he going to do? Leave his queen there to be raped, by the invaders? But, however, I noticed that when the Greeks went over there and on their sojourns and what have you, they took little boys with them, man. What's up with that? Hello.
Oh my God.
Hear you.
Yep. Hang on. There's somebody with background noise here while he's talking. So please, people with background noise, can you please knock it off? Come on. I mean, it's not that hard to operate these cell phones. I mean, obviously every little noise in the background gets picked up, even with me. So just, Shabaka, go ahead. Carry on, please.
Okay, yes. Okay, so therefore what it is that in African societies, and I'm sure Mandela Khan could agree with me on this, a great emphasis was placed on procreation, passing down a lineage. That only happens between the union between a man and a woman. But when you Europeans came there, Man, you can go down there, man, like Napoleon did, shot off the nose of the Sphinx, just like that Alexander the Barbarian went down there and burned down all the libraries. The same thing with that other savage by the name of Caesar, you see, and they had thousands and thousands of years of knowledge there. Check out Dr. Ashwar Kwesi, and in his research and in his lectures, he has proven that the Great Pyramid lies dead center of the Earth's land mass, and then if you take the height of the Great Pyramid multiplied by its base, it will give you the exact distance between the Earth and the Sun. Now, the thing I don't understand, which are public indoctrination centers, where and Jane Elliott, well-renowned educator, has proven this, is that all you do is feed black youth a bunch of lies. You screw up their value systems in their formative years. You see what I mean?
Well, Jane Elliott Shabaka was on this podcast, and she did not make a very good impression on me. I believe that she was very apologetic for a lot of things that she had no understanding of. I mean, anyone can walk into a classroom and scare any young child to death with any type of philosophy or historical way of thinking. So she got famous by scaring children. And I don't think that's the right way of doing things, because children are very impressionable, and I can make a 4-year-old believe that he can fly. I don't think that Jane Elliott is such a genius by doing that.
Okay,
Can I comment
from the research? Yeah, hold on, please, let me finish, and then go ahead.
Yeah, you're next. You're next. Yeah, you're next, John.
Okay, is that Jane Elliott? I've done a lot of research on her, read over a lot of her material. She makes a lot of sense, and she does have admitted where she has made some errors. But the ethos of this country spews out so much hatred on those who don't want to go along with it. I mean, look at that dumb bastard that you guys elected president. I mean, that son of a bitch belongs in jail, man. Come on. Grab women by the you-know-what? That's a sexual assault. Then he's going to say that my people come from shithole countries. Well, let's look at the rat traps and the shitholes that he came out. Then to find out this dude likes to get spanked on his ass with magazines by Stormy Daniels down there in Beverly Hills and Hollywood and Malibu and what have you. You got a lot of...
Well, what about Bill Clinton, Shabaka? Should Bill Clinton still be held for the crimes that he did by having sex and taking advantage of a 21-year-old woman and raping all the women that he did? I mean, we're blaming Trump for what he did by, shouldn't Clinton be held accountable too?
Charges. Bring Clinton up on charges. Bring him up on charges because, like I said,
there are no statute of limitations on genocide and atrocities. No statute of limitations.
Disappear.
Thank you, Mandela Khan. Resurrection of the mental dead. That's exactly what's happening right there. And I created that hashtag. Now, the point is, what I'm getting at is this. The reason why my people have to become self-sufficient this current time in history, because we as the people have regressed 100 years in the last 50 years. That's incredible. That's social engineering.
All right, Shabaka, though. Why don't all people become self-sufficient? Why should only one people be self-sufficient? Why do we all have to rely on the Federal Reserve criminal banking cartel? Why can't all people?
Well, like I said, right now, at this particular point in time, as I stated on this podcast before, my people are in a state of emergency, and we have to deal with that first. We have to take care of our own backyard first, okay? It's because we should not be worrying about any other groups as long as that we are in the condition that we're in. As I'm riding here through the streets of Oakland, I'm seeing more goddamn tent cities up here than a little bit. So much for affordable housing. And you're all right about these criminal trillionaire savages over there in Boys Town, over there in Silicon Valley, of how they manipulate a lot of shit. But also, too, Hollywood does a lot of manipulation. And then
Hollyweird, you mean? Hollyweird.
Sir, yeah, it's weirder than that. This is on planet. Like I said, I grew up in that cesspool called Los Angeles, and this is why I would always say F Hollywood and the whole city of Los Angeles. I grew up there, okay? So that makes me qualified. And yes, and I will do a podcast from the corner of Hollywood and Highland where the Kodak Theater sits, where the Academy Awards are held at, and I will sit there and I will crumb bum on asses right there and stand there on that corner with my security. But the point is this. my people can't do shit for nobody else until we take care of ourselves. You see, this is why the reparations are needed, because we built this country, we built the wealth in this whole damn hemisphere, and then Europe, has benefited greatly off of our gold that they took out of the country. The same thing with the diamonds down there in South Africa, Zambia, and then of course we're not going to talk about Her Majesty Queen Nzinga when the Portuguese came down there and kidnapped her brother, then sent back their military talking about that they running shit, and Her Majesty said, "Oh no, the fuck you ain't." And all her adult life, she fought them for 50 years and got them up out of there. You see what I mean? And by the way, that's why he has
quickly, Shabaka, let me give you the credentials, some a boost and support. Shabaka is a veteran of Uncle Scam, who fought in the military under the United States of America in the red, white, and blue. He has a right to talk to you this way, so bear with him.
Okay, all right, Shabaka. John, I think John had a question for you maybe. I don't know if John is still there or not. I'm scrolling up the scroll lines. John,
yes,
do you have a question for Shabaka?
It's more of a statement. Alexander the Great never burnt any history book, never burnt anything. He just accumulated knowledge. He just wanted knowledge. He's not like the rest of the leaders that burnt knowledge to push their knowledge.
John,
he wasn't.
Do you know about the 21 gun salute? John, do you know about the 21 gun salute? The 21 gun salute was authorized by Alexander the Fake, a military general from Rome. Alexander, just like the religion, just like the Pope, just like the Queen of England, it was Alexander the Fake that shot 21 cannons, and that's why y'all honor the 21 gun salute, to honor European invaders overturning the African indigenous freedom, justice, and independence. That's the fact.
Okay. Alexander the Great, there wasn't gunpowder in his time. It wasn't a 21 gun salute by Alexander the Great.
So are you saying that Alexander the Fake and his army from Rome did not shoot the nose off the phoenix in Egypt? That's what you're saying, John.
No, that was the
Alexander the Great did not have an army from Rome. He had nothing to do with Rome. Okay? You're
I said the Sphinx in Egypt. Are you saying to the people today, November 2019, that Alexander and the Roman legions did not shoot the nose with 21 cannons off the Sphinx in Egypt? Is that what you're saying?
That was Napoleon.
I'm talking about Alexander the Great. You're talking about
Napoleon. Okay,
yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I got the names wrong, but I got the people right. Why did Napoleon, Alexander, or Hitler, or Mussolini go into Ethiopia and try to defeat Ethiopia and destroy the matriarch? That's the deal. The matriarch is what they were trying to do.
Alexander didn't destroy countries. Right. Alexander didn't destroy countries.
All right. We can't get into a big debate here about Alexandria, or whatever you want to call it, because we got a bunch of callers on the phone line here. All right, let's move on, John.
Alexander's
all right, go ahead,
John,
real quick. Take 1 minute, and I got a bunch of callers to get to. Go ahead.
Okay. Just so you guys understand, Alexander the Great's history is different. He conquered nations, but he did not try to change them. He just turned them back over to the people, and then they wanted to learn their way of life, what they knew. All he wanted was the knowledge, and then he gave it back. He didn't conquer and force things on people.
Why did he steal the knowledge?
I'm just pointing that out.
Why did he steal the knowledge as his own, John? The same thing with Socrates, Plato, and the other one, Aristotle. You didn't hear none of these damn fools until they went down there to Kemet. And keep in mind that is the proper name of the place, Kemet. Egypt is a Greek word. Okay?
Okay. All right, Shabaka. You can stay on the line here, but I got to move on, time permitting, because I've got so many callers on the line. We may get some new voices here, so let's do that.
You get closing comments, Shabaka. Hold tight.
Yeah.
You get closing comments.
Hang on, Medelcon. 765. Go ahead. 765. Going once. Going twice. All right, you're muted again. 252. 252. Go ahead. All right, you're muted. Private caller, have the crank calls here. Yeah, these are the people that just wait so long to do something stupid. Private caller, go ahead. Private caller. All right, hang up on that one. Private caller, go ahead. All right, you're hung up on. Okay. All right, let's go to closing thoughts to everybody. Shabaka, I know you called back in, so I'm going to give everyone who's called in here tonight 5 minutes. Don't anyone interrupt or you'll lose your spot. Shabaka, you're first. Right. Go ahead.
You're in the people's court, and everybody have patience in the political control.
You're the first one to violate the rules. Come on, man.
Okay.
Shabaka,
I'm just trying to set the table.
Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to set the table.
Closing thoughts. Go ahead. Okay. Shabaka, you're first.
Good, thank you. Okay, first of all, I'm looking at a spectacular sunset that's landing over here in Panther Town, you know what I'm saying, Oakland, California, and this is his own planet, okay? Now, as I was saying on my people becoming self-sufficient educationally, politically, and economically, we have to do this. We have to get black children up out of these damn public indoctrination centers because this is where they're learning all these social ills. Now, I heard one gentleman talk about the city of Chicago. Okay, those housing projects were just that, projects to create genocide, to create self-destruction, because, you know, they even did the same experiment with rats. You put them all together on top of each other, what's going to happen when you have the limited resources? They're going to kill each other. So they're going to learn this here generation after generation after generation. And then when we did have enlightenment, then when we did have some of our scholars like the great Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who had pointed out and proven the miseducation of the Negro, a lot of the educators that he did proven were programmed to miseducate. You see what I mean? And the first form of miseducation is black people calling themselves Americans. Man, we ain't no damn Americans. Man, we were brought here as property and chattel slavery. We built this damn country. We definitely need to get our reparations because it is the only right thing to do. If America has this great heart and everybody is free and all that, which it isn't, is because America has blood on its hands and is full of some of the most blatant hypocrisy in history. I'm done.
All right, Shabaka. All right. Well, you had more time, so I'll leave you on the line here in case we got some extra time here. Let's see. Sure. Dr. Leroy, do you want to talk here real quick?
Yeah. I'd rather have spend my 5 minutes having a civil discussion about some issues and everything. But I mean, you know, I'd like to see he's out in Oakland. He's watching the sunset, so he'll be the last one on the phone cable seeing the sunset tonight. That's pretty cool. I wouldn't go to California though. I've been there. Get me to.
I don't blame you, man.
I want to stay there.
I don't blame you, smart man.
Stay there. I see what you're saying when you say, you know, get the black kids up and teach them how to, you know, get them out of these projects like you said and everything else. And that should be the goal for everybody. I think is everybody's purpose in life is to better themselves for the next generation. And you got to start somewhere, and you know the projects is the projects. You're right. It's government-funded stuff, basically stacking people on top of people. But that's better than leaving them homeless still. So the people living in projects, whether you're black, white, or Mexican or whatever, you got to find a way to get yourself out of that too. You can't expect the government or anybody else to make your life better. It's up to you to make your life better. By waking up. Okay, I'm glad you agree on that somewhat, and I'm not trying to argue with you on things or anything like that either. I'm just saying. But you know, and with Medelikon, his thing was all the European invaders in Ethiopia and everything else like that. Now let's change the hands of time a little bit, and let's go back in time. What if Ethiopia and Africa in general had the technology that the Europeans had? Would Ethiopia be the one taking over Europe and everything else, because they had the guns, they had the tanks, they had everything else? We don't know that. So to blame something and hold it responsible for stuff today that happened 200-300 years ago, that's not the answer. The answer is to find out how we can make tomorrow better than today for everybody, not just for black people, not just for white people and everything else. And it's going to take everybody to work together for it. The answer ain't going to be socialism because socialism fails everywhere eventually. Same with communism. Right. I mean, just look what's going on. Just look what's going on in China now. And someone brought up British rule. I think it was Mandela Khan, British rule over China. No, British never ruled China. They ruled Hong Kong. It was a 100-year deal. Look it up. And now they're not under British control no more. Look what's going on over there. They're getting some of the communist crap. You go to Hong Kong, you can watch whatever you want on TV. You can search whatever you want on the internet. You go to the mainland of China, you're only going to watch what the hell they tell you to watch, and that's it. So maybe the British were a good influence on them to open up their minds. But we all have to work together no matter what. Like I said, black or white. I don't think anybody on this show is racist. We bring up points and stuff that may sound racist, but I don't know anybody. I don't know if John is or not. Well, you're wrong. If a black person hates a white person, that makes them racist. All right? If a black person hates a white person, it's simply because he's white.
Black people control no police department, sir. Black people control no central banking. Black people don't control no major industries and infrastructures. We're in no position to...
A black person was president. There was a black president just a few years ago.
Sell out, ass scratcher, man. He was more worried about the homosexual getting to pick up his ass than the damn police murdering.
Oh, my God. You're so right. You're so right about that.
All right. Closing, Mandela Khan, go ahead. I know you got a lot to say, and then John. Go ahead, Mandela Khan. Go ahead.
Understand the times in which we live. We are different, yet we are the same. If I say, is there black blood or white blood when we bleed that comes out of our body, you know it's all red. So it don't have nothing to do with black or white. If I say that we all need water, is it black water? Yes, by white power, but there's no water. Water is transparent. So all people need power, they need water, and they need their blood to flow so they can evolve with growth and development, with elevation and ascension. Now, let me go to the flowers and trees, the birds and the bees and the animals. But I want to bring us to ants because there are three stocks of people on the planet Earth: African, Asian, and European. African is the first world. Asia is the second world. Right. Europe is the third world, okay, the real third world. But here's where I got you. We humans, but we different humans. A black ant would never take his little baby ants to a red ant or a white ant for no orientation. That's natural law. That's the creator. They're insects, but we know that a wildebeest, a topi, will not interact with a hyena or a lion. They're animals, right? Natural. We know that tulips, all other kinds of flowers, they all have to have a certain piece of Mother Earth so they can grow, evolve, and develop in growth for elevation and ascension. The problem I'm having with the Closet Klux Klan, Dr. Leroy, Dr. Peter Ventura, Joe, John, is that in your
get a grip
selective amnesia, you feel as though, Mandela, we have to be in control of what we stole. And we cannot enter into your millions of years of history to intervene on our new invention because we just came into power and we love this stuff. And it's a beautiful thing that for the first time in the history of the whole planet, the last 500 years, illegal alien European nations has been allowed to grow, develop, evolve, and be affluent and opulent because they stole the legacy of the resources in the peoples of the color all over the planet. The real 13% of people on the planet Earth is European. Number one is African people. Number two is Chinese people. Number three is Indian people. And they are not European. So when I bring up the analogy of the ants, this is not separation. It's the fact that I work better with a Ku Klux Klan than I do a Black Panther. Why? Because a Ku Klux Klan know that, look, I want my little girl and my land, and I want this and such and such. And like y'all said earlier, that if you don't like America, you can go someplace else. Well, here's where y'all wrong in that analysis. African and indigenous people was in America before Amerigo Vespucci, Christopher Columbus, and Pablo Alonso Lina, who was a Moor, who showed the Europeans where we were. And then there were Moors and Africans who taught Europeans how to come out the caves, to quit dragging their women by the hair, beating and bruising them, who taught them how to bathe, who taught them how to stand upright, and they taught them how to build ships. And when they taught them how to build ships, what the hell did they do? Go to the rest of the world with their cannons and fire-breathing sticks that blew smoke and claim that I can create thunder and lightning, the Big Bang Theory.
And Mandela Khan, not to interject, because I don't want to lose my train of thought, because Dr. Leroy brought that up, because we still got plenty of time here left. Shabaka said that there's no black people around the globe here who control any of the central banks. Actually, he is wrong. The Central Bank of Bank of Western Africa.
I'm not going to engage in that.
Hang on. The Central Bank of Western Africa is controlled by Mr. Senegal. Actually, Quatari. He's West Africa. Come on. For God's sake, can I make my point? No.
Closing comment. I'll be quiet. And Shabaka, rest your case, Shabaka. It's my time to give my closing comment.
Right.
And go ahead.
You can't make any points that are educational because everyone just starts yelling. I said I'll get back to you.
Go ahead, Joe. Make your case. Go ahead.
All right. Shabaka said no central banks are controlled by
Joe,
Africans.
you intervene on my closing comments, so go ahead and make your statement so I can rebut.
Well, it kind of is my radio program, so I kind of got to interject once in a while. I didn't say I was cutting you off and going to take your time away. But anyway, Mandela Khan, we can't get any knowledge put out there on the platform, so you go ahead, take your 2 more minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. Choosing a new way of life. That means that we have to forget what we know and start over as children. If I put a little black child, a Mexican child, and a white child in a Jim J's room, and they both all three hungry, and put a bottle in the middle, I don't care if the black child will get there first. He gonna give that bottle just like we did in the past. While we didn't get 40 acres and move reparations, we gave the bottle to the red child, and the red child gave it to the white child because they all was crying for some sustenance. Children are righteous. We all born righteous. But when we come through the social system, from the systems of government, from the Congo to the Bongo, based on capitalism, based on imperialism, then we all get selfish. And we want to control that which Mother Earth gives us freely. So now y'all want to say, well, we all got to charge each other for sustenance that keep us stable. The only reason that people get violent and people start robbing and killing and stealing is because of poverty. But Mother Earth produces abundance of resources to satisfy every human being, even if we populate the Earth 10 times over what we have. Some people say 7 to 8 billion. I say we have 25 billion. Mother Earth produces enough sustenance for us all to have. But we don't want that. What we want is to be right in our lying and testifying about God, country, and our Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, and Constitution. I'm telling you this, that we are the same people with different venues of how we got here. And there will be no separation until freedom, justice, and total independence is uttered into the United States of America. Then the rest of the other 204 nations, they will know how to get in line. The eagle will not be able to attack people. Here's what I want to say. The final 30 seconds. If Africa, the continent, fell in the ocean, the whole world will go to a funeral in mourning because they won't have their vacuum cleaners to suck out the resources. But if the United States of America, with our black and white asses, fall in the ocean like Atlantis, the whole planet Earth will go into a jubilation, a celebration, because the eagle won't be over there to act like that I'm Lord of the air, Lord of the sea, and do as I say, or you're going to see me with my guns and bullets. I rest the case. Much love, much respect to each and every one of you.
All right, rest in this case. Go ahead, John. John, you're next. And then I wanted to address how many blacks are in charge of police departments around the country, actually. You'll be quite shocking to know that 13% of the police departments around the country, which reflects the black population in America, are controlled by blacks. So, but anyway, we won't get into numbers or facts because we just want to talk and yell at each other. Go ahead, John.
Hey, thank you, man. Okay, it's 7:38, so we got plenty of time. See if I can get 5 minutes here without interruption for a change. Okay. Oh, we got a serious problem in this world. Everybody's been born into the indoctrination that this system is a good system, it's a great system, it's a wonderful system, and it's a fair system for all, which is not true in any way, shape, or form. This is a slavery system, and it is designed as a slavery system to enslave us all. We have the slaves that work as police, the law enforcement enforce, which is a forcing, okay, the will of the government on the people, where they pretend to protect, but they don't. It's not about protecting, it's enforcing. They try to teach us to respect authority, but authority doesn't ask for respect. They don't deserve respect. They demand obedience, and that's all they fight for is obedience. So from beginning, when you're born and you start into the educational system in this world, they start teaching you to be obedient under force, threat of force, bodily harm, okay? And that's how they rule us. And the slaves are the ones enforcing this bodily harm on the other slaves. And for some reason, everybody thinks this is acceptable. You get your little piece of the pie, you're happy because that's all you want is a piece of the pie. Instead of asking for a piece of the pie, why don't we all get the entire pie? That's my thing. We all deserve the entire pie, not a piece, not a small inclination of freedom. We should all have 100% freedom. And the only way we're ever going to do that is to get out of the system we're in today. Please don't interrupt. Please. The only way we're ever going to have 100% freedom for all, okay, is to get rid of the chains of enslavement, which is the monetary system, which everybody thinks they need the money to survive. They need the capitalist system. These people that think they do, they think it's a wonderful thing, but those are the chains of bondage. The system is well designed. I give it credit, you know, and the way they indoctrinate everybody from birth to believe that money is power, but there's no power in it. There's only enslavement, you know, and the more you get, the more you're enslaved. So, you know, fight for more money and you'll have more power and more freedom, but it's not true. You'll actually get more enslavement. Human race has got to wake up to the truth, okay? Like McGillicuddy says, the Mother Earth will provide for all of us. It always has. It still does, okay? All we have to do is stop attacking Mother Earth, start nurturing Mother Earth, and take care of each other, instead of worrying about myself and my piece of the pie and what that guy is doing down the street. You know? That's not right. You know, because everybody just wants to survive, live in peace. When it comes down to it, now they're all indoctrinated into wherever they're born, the system hits them that way, you know? And as far as like Chicago, for instance, now this is a true thing. I don't know exactly the town or the state, where it is exactly. But the state got money, okay, to help the black community in a neighborhood, okay? They got millions and millions of dollars, okay? Here's the grant. Boom, it's there. Now a corporation comes in, bids on that grant to improve the neighborhood. The first thing they're going to do is build a stadium, okay? They build a stadium in that neighborhood with government money that's supposed to help the neighborhood, okay? Now, along with the stadium that they're going to get, that's for football and baseball and all the nice little things that bring in revenue to a neighborhood, okay, they also get where they have to also spend money, so much money on helping the neighborhood itself, building things around the neighborhood, you know, things for the people to live better off of. So they build this big stadium. Nobody in the neighborhood can use it because the tickets are so high that only people from the other areas come in to use the stadium. Okay, so it doesn't profit them at all. The profit goes into the man that owns the stadium's pocket, never hits the streets of that community. Now, what he does with the money that he's supposed to allocate to improving the community, he goes all around the community and does parking lots. so that he can bus the people to the stadium so they can
yes,
drive
John,
to the parking lot.
corruption. Yes, corruption, John. Yes,
Okay,
you're correct.
but
corruption.
this is fact. This is what is happening. You want to talk about these communities, who pays the taxes, and where the money goes in these communities. Now, try to do that in Hollywood. It doesn't go that way. The money goes to beautifying the streets, to making it nice, to helping the businesses that, succeed. It's a whole different world. It's being done by design, though. It's not by accident. Okay.
All right, guys, come on. He's got a minute and a half left. Come on. Go ahead, John.
Let me finish because I'm trying to cover all the things we were talking about tonight real quick. Okay? Now they take these same neighborhoods and the government floods them with drugs. They don't give the children anything to do other than drugs. They do build a few little parks with basketball hoops, and then they flood those parks with drugs. They flood their schools with drugs. The government does this, okay? And then you try to figure it out, oh, no, it's them. It's a choice they're making. No, it's a choice they have put in front of them growing up. It's not their fault. They are victims. And if you don't start realizing that people are being victimized in this country by the government, and it's not so much their choice, it's the choices put before them, okay? The main choice there for survival, Okay, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that right there. And I hope I covered what I wanted to cover. I got interrupted.
John, it's everyone's fault but my own, right?
John,
you're
I'll
telling me by
celebrate you for that testimony inside of Understand the Cosmos.
For God's sake. It's
okay,
everyone's
Joe,
fault but my own, correct?
No, it's not that it's everyone's fault. The system is designed. Don't go blaming. Don't look for blame. Look to fix. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. It's being done by design.
That gets to my original question from the beginning of the show, and I'm going to pose this to everyone here on the panel here tonight. How do we fix the current system without rambling on and pointing fingers saying they're shipping the drugs in, they're doing this? We know the educational system's broken. What do we do to fix the problem? What do we do? Mandelicon, hang on. Start with Mandelicon first. Go ahead, Mandelicon.
Listen to John, all of you Closet Club Klansmen or your fan club. Or
see, we got to call names. We can't get to the point.
I'm just stating the obvious that will be hidden, and you'll have selective amnesia unless you don't realize that the war on drugs and the war on terrorism is the new cotton. The new cotton is the war on drugs and the war on terrorism. And all people, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, you got to oppose your government because the doctors, the nurses, the judges, the elected officials, they work for Washington, that work for corporations and foreign governments. They don't work for the people. I'll rest the case right there.
All right, before I get to Shabaka here, and because I want him to answer that, the currency system here. I want to address that at the end of this podcast, why there's a currency system and a monetary system globally throughout the history of any type of civilization, tribal system, or what have you. There has to be a bartering system, some sort of bartering system. And you said, John, the resources of the earth. That will not work because tribalism will kick in, and the nature of mankind and the way people are, they will resort back to the kill or be killed type of system where the strong will be like the law.
Joe.
See, I can't finish my point. The laws of the jungle will kick in just like the animal kingdom. The strongest will survive. You have to get up and go to work every day like animals do. The strongest
what's wrong
whatever,
with the jungle?
lions.
You love the Bible.
God.
What's wrong with the jungle? What's wrong with the jungle? This day go with Dr. Peter Ventura. We're going to have the Bible or the jungle.
Point. There's no
Ain't
point.
nothing
There's
wrong
no
with the
point
jungle.
You can't.
There's
You're
no
not
point.
going to be able to
There's
finish
no
the point.
There's no point at all to trying to educate anyone or examine the facts or understand the times. Everything John is talking about. Everything John is talking about has been tried before. No monetary system, no type of creator, no type of law, no government. Yes, it has.
And when you put
I've got a question. I've asked this question.
Go ahead, Dr. Leroy. You've been silent for a while. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy, then Shabaka. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy.
I'll ask this question to each and every person out there right now. And don't interrupt me. Don't be a son of a gun.
They will.
All right. With the I know. With the bartering system, okay. Why we live off Mother Earth, okay? We can all live off Mother Earth. You're right. We sure can. But I have this great idea to create a widget, and this widget is better than anything we've ever seen before because you didn't make this widget. I made this widget. So therefore, instead of charging you 2 rocks for this widget, I need 6 rocks for this widget because it does so much more for you to help you live. So why shouldn't I be able to make more rocks off my widget invention that you didn't do because you were too busy sticking potatoes in the ground while I was using my mind to be bettering myself and my family? That's why we all can't be equals, because I came up with a better idea than you, therefore I should be rewarded more than you. It's not, I came up with this great idea, but I'm going to share it with everybody. No, the purpose is to better yourself and your family. Point and simple. So that's all there is to it. You got to have some type of bartering system, whether it's rocks, whether it's money, whether it's gold, diamonds, arms and legs, fetuses. If you're Planned Parenthood, it don't matter. You have to have something to barter with. And normally it all stems down.
Leroy, let me ask
the
you this
bartering
question.
system, hang on, Mendelicon, hang on.
It's
Dr.
okay,
Leroy's right.
The
bartering system, every bartering system globally has been created to preserve an exchange rate amongst the people, and that's where government regulation comes in. Now, did government regulation become corrupt, John? Yes. Did the Federal Reserve become corrupt and hijacked? And where greed took over? Yes. Did it enslave people? Yes. However, that's where we come in as the people to fix it and make it a more fair system. To sit there and say we don't need any type of bartering system is not going to work because human greed, humankind, and nature will kick in. Mother Nature will kick in. Simple as that.
And Dr. Leroy, let me ask you this question. Now, if Mother Earth gave to the animals and plants and flowers freely access to Mother Earth, how dare any human being, black or white,
Mother Earth
put a
doesn't
price
give anything, Mendelicon. Mother, you have to work. You have to work.
Let it finish. I've already got my answer.
Let me say this. There's not a roach, a rat, a mosquito, a fly, or a wildebeest that'll pay a penny for sustenance on Mother Earth. Now, since we're supposed to be the most advanced life force, what makes you mentally ill people, black or white, think that we're supposed to pay for water, food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, protection, and indoctrination?
Well, you know what?
No,
Mendelicon, you go outside.
Hold on.
No. You're not gonna ask 37 questions and not have one answer. Okay?
There's only one question. Who the hell do you think you are and understand?
Here we go. Here we go. You're absolutely right. Mendelicon, you can't ask 50 questions and expect one answer and everybody be happy.
There's only one question. What kind of system that you want to promote that puts a price on the sustenance that the people need to keep them stable, like animals, flowers, and trees, and birds and the bees? We don't need your goddamn system.
That's enough.
All right, Mendelicon. All right. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy. Answer them the best way you can.
I will. There are no tigers and bears flying airplanes. There are no flowers, tulips, dandelions, or whatever building cars. Okay? And as far as water goes, go dig you a big, deep hole and get your own water for free. But until you can, guess what? The guy that dug that big, deep-ass hole in the ground is pumping the water out. Would you shut up for 2 seconds and let me finish?
Hey, let me mute him. Let me mute him because he keeps interrupting the answer. He asked for an answer, and Dr. Leroy's trying to give it to you. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy. Get your box in your neck. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy.
Until you go out in your front yard and dig you a 1,000-foot hole and pump water up out there, buy the bottles, put it in the bottle, whatever, and sell it to somebody, the person that's doing that gets some type of compensation for it. You get paid for your work. That's how this works. Not everything's for free. Because you know why? There'll be lowlifes like you wanting a handout. Dig that hole for me. I need water and reparations because I'm entitled to water. You're not entitled to nothing. The only thing anybody on this earth is entitled to is to live. And live the best way you can.
Now, can I interrupt for a minute?
All right, John, then Shabaka. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me actually answer your original question. If you had everything you wanted in life freely, okay, and you took the time to invent something to make things better for you and everybody else, but there was nothing else you ever wanted in life because anything you could dream of is there for you and your family. Why do you have to try to extort other people to have what
Who's
you
got the background noise, for goodness sake?
But the point is, you guys are still thinking in the capitalist system, which has enslaved you, because you think enslavement is the only thing that is possible in this world. Think, okay, we all work together as a tribe. We all have everything we want. Now we invent something better. It's to share so we have more. All have more. It's not like,
well, what if I don't want to share, John? What if I don't want to share with you because I don't like the color of your hair? So I should be forced to share on what I created? No, I'd rather sell it to you. I want your 2 shirts and your pair of pants, and you can have my 7 bottles of water. How's that? That's how a bartering system develops, John. Okay? You can't change. Am I wrong for thinking that way, John? Hang on, John.
One thing you're missing.
Hang on, guys.
Okay, but one thing everybody is missing.
Hang on,
if there's no reward.
Children, play nice.
Am I wrong for thinking that way? Am I wrong for thinking that way? Am I wrong for thinking that way for the 3rd time?
Yes,
Nobody's going to shut
You're
up.
not wrong, because if there's no reward.
No, hang on. Well, for God's sake, I'm just going to end the show. You know what? Stop. Everybody can't yell over it. The scenario I just used, you're right. I'm wrong for being greedy. I'm wrong for being selfish. But that's just who I am. You know, you're not going to stop it. You're not going to stop everyone from having their own individual beliefs and wants, John. That's the point I'm trying to make. So how do you deal with that, John? How do you deal with that? Or John. Go ahead. Then Shabaka, you get the final thoughts. Go ahead.
It's very simple. Give you everything you want in your life. Everything you could ever want. Okay, here it is. There, you got it. Now, when you create this thing that's better, what are you going to do with it? Is there something else you want out there? No, I got everything I want. I created this for the betterment because I thought I could. And look, I succeeded. Let's share it. You all shared everything I ever wanted in life with me. Why can't I share everything I have in life with you that would help you without giving away my personal possessions? Personal families, personal possessions, home, your own home. That's yours. You guys know, why is it people can't think freedom? Why is it people can't think, hey, let's work together to improve mankind instead of, hey, no, just me. As long as you got that mindset, it's war, destruction, and humanity will never evolve. All I want to see is humanity evolve. If you can't get to that mindset, I'm wasting my time talking to you. Because if you can't get to the mindset to evolve as a race, why bother with the race? Let's set off all the nukes already. Let's just do it.
And that's what's going on, John. All right, Shabaka's been waiting patiently. John. Let's get to Shabaka. Go ahead, Shabaka. He hasn't even gotten his closing thoughts, I believe. So go ahead, Shabaka.
All right, thank you, John. First of all, children, play nice. As I stated before, it's for my people throughout the whole diaspora to become self-sufficient. Integration did not work, and it will not work. For the atrocities that were committed against us, for us to sit down there and sit at a lunch counter and still beg for a cup of coffee is suicide. My people have to become self-sufficient, not only in the U.S., in the Caribbean, and on the continent. It's because every other group of people benefited off the continent of Africa, as Mandela kind of pointed out earlier in my conversations with him. Now, white America comes up here and says, all you people need to get over it and all this old type of stuff. That's bullshit. If you're going to have some healing, you have to address these atrocities amongst the races. But I know that's not going to happen. And with me completing my 60th solar return, I'll be a damn fool to sit up there and to believe that shit. Now, somebody had made the comment about Obama was the first black president and all that. He was more worried about alternative lifestyles than the police murdering his own people. Now, the sad part about this is that I get tired of each time that I see these two terrorists in a police car. I don't know if they want to say, hey, we want to go kill this NGR tonight, just for the F of it. I'm not a criminal. I don't go out there doing anything to anybody. But for us to be told to sit there to forget about some of the worst atrocities committed against the people is stupid. What we have to do is build up our own infrastructures and become self-sufficient. And by the way, Ethiopia never been conquered since 1100 A.D. Why? Because they had a sense of cohesiveness, and everybody that came down there since then had been smashed. And this is what my people have to do, is they have to get back into the sense of themselves, not worrying about their oppressors. We must come out of this philosophy of boss we sit. The days of ass scratching and yassa bossing and sitting at a lunch counter and begging for a cup of coffee are over. That is my final thought.
All right, very good, Shabaka. Thank you for joining me, John. Also, hopefully, John, I did give you a lot of time here to speak tonight. John, I got 30 seconds left. If you want to take some closing thoughts, or Dr. Leroy, go ahead, real quick.
Well, John, I'll take a quick 5 seconds. If you quit,
go ahead.
If everybody quits trying, and they're given everything they're needed in life, and they no longer have to try or work for anything they want, we're no longer going to advance, because no one's going to want to. Why? They have everything. Think outside the box. Better yourself. That's the point of life. Go ahead, John.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, John.
First thing is, it's human nature to advance, okay? We're going to advance. We're going to work to do better. We all want to do better. That's human nature. You don't need a reward for it. The reward is the fact that you did it. That's human nature. That's what people have forgotten, the true human nature of mankind. Okay? We already want to advance. We want to do better. Look at the children. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a police officer to protect. I mean, it's all natural to want to do better. And they don't do it for money or for reward. They do it because it's human nature. Now, you lost your human nature, buddy. We all have. Let's get it back. That's all I'm saying. And you don't need a reward. The life itself, the family, everybody prospering is the reward. And it is a greater reward than you can get through the system you're going for right now.
All right, John, I got to wrap up the show. Thank you, Mandela Khan. Thank you, Shabaka. Next show, we need to continue this conversation. There's a lot here to talk about. There really is. But we got to go. Good night, everybody. Take care.